Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of our 4-part series, The Lies That Keep Us from Asking. Listen, welcome to day 4. Glad that you are watching this, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on replay. We are back for day number 4. We've made it a whole 4 days in this series, and I'm going to share with you the biggest lie. I think this is the biggest one today. The biggest lie that stops us from asking. And listen, I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday, and we agreed, and I think I've said it here before, that asking is a life skill. It is a life skill. And that's going to mean something to you. Those two words, a life skill, which means your success in life, your progress in life, your ability to get to the goals and the dreams that you have. And I'm not overstating this. Your ability to reach your goals is dependent on your ability to ask. Your there is a level that you will not get to if you do not know how to ask. But when we say it's a life skill, a skill is something you can always get better at. So if you're saying to yourself while you're watching this, hey, I'm not good at that, I'm just never going to be good at that. No, that's the wrong thinking. A skill means I can get better at that. So we're going to talk about that today. Good morning. Good morning. If you are watching me this morning, just go ahead and say hello. Say good morning. Say something in the chat. Let me know that I'm coming in loud and clear. Good morning. What's up, Pam? What's up? What's up, Petula? Good to see you both on this morning on Instagram. Y'all go ahead and just say good morning. Let me know in the chat that you are here. What's up, Cheryl? Day number 4 for you. You've been on every single day, and I appreciate that. What's up, Claretta? Good to see you on. Claretta, I see that you're coming to the conference. Shout out to you. What's up, Mike? My guy. Good morning. It is what, 6 o'clock for you. Good to see you on this morning. Listen, today we're talking about the biggest lie that stops you and I from asking. And as I set this up, I want to just say that, as I said earlier, asking is a life skill. If you do not know how to ask for what you need, it is going to stop you from hitting the goals that you have for yourself. And listen, this is not just a business thing. This involves just life. If you do not know how to ask, it spiritually, relationally, in every area, it is going to block you. So good to see you all on this morning. Those of you, I see you all on Instagram, I see you on Facebook, I see you on YouTube. And I want to just encourage you. Yeah, you said you had FOMO. Listen, that's good. I want to encourage you to share this live. You're watching this. Somebody is going to need what we're talking about today. Just go ahead and hit that share button from where you are. If you're on Facebook, it's so much easier. Um, YouTube and Instagram, not as much, but those of you on Facebook, go ahead and share it. All right, I want to jump in, just give you a little recap. We've been talking about 4 lies that stop us from asking and what they're costing us. And this came from a question I put out there on social media. What is the challenge you have with asking for help? And people were very honest, folks were very reflective on the things that they talked about, and they really fell into these categories. And the first lie we dealt with on Tuesday on day number 1 was, I should be able to do this myself. Come on. I need you to just agree with me if you've ever felt that way. I don't want to ask for help because it's really an admission that I don't know what I should know. It's an admission I can't do what I'm supposed to be able to do. Sometimes you might see the meme or the story, the husband's driving around or the man is driving around in the car and he doesn't want to ask for directions, because to ask for directions is an admission that he's lost, and he should not be lost. He should be able to find his way. And a lot of us, that's humorous, but a lot of us, that's how we live our lives. I'm too old to ask for help. I've been in this job too long. This is my role, and in this role, I should not be asking for help. Other people should depend on me. And that's what some of us said. I'm the firstborn, so I've almost conditioned myself that I should know this already. And that keeps us from asking. It's a lie. Because here's the truth. All of us are limited. We're looking at this parable from Luke 11:5 to 10 all week long. It's framing our conversation. And in the parable, the man has a knock at midnight. It says, Which of you has a friend who will go to him at midnight and say, "Friend, lend me 3 loaves, for a friend arrived on a journey and I have nothing to set before him." Life will always knock at your door at inconvenient times and ask for things that you can't do. This man may have had money, but he did not have the ability to go to the store. So he had to go ask a friend. And in your life, in your relationships, with your business, with your career, you will hit limits where you cannot do what you need to do. And you will realize, I need help. And if you don't ask for help, it's going to cost you that promotion. If you don't ask for help, it's going to cost you being proficient on the job. If you don't ask for help, it'll keep your relationship in the place that you don't want it to be. If you don't ask for help, your health will not get to where you want it to go. It is going to cost you. So that was lie number one that we talked about. And the truth is, we are not independent, we are interdependent. We need each other. All right. So that was day number one. If day number one, that was something that you need, just put the number one in the comments. Put the number one in the comments. Let me know that that lie is one that maybe you have been thinking about and you need now to break that. All right, put a one in the comments. Now, here's number two. Here is number two. If they say no, they are rejecting me. That lie shows up so many places. Again, if you're watching this live, good morning. Glad that you're on here. You can share this if you can on your platform. Cheryl, thank you for saying that, because die number one has been one for me as well. If they say no, they're rejecting me. How many of us that no stings, right? When you hear the word no, it does something not just to what your ears hear, but it does something to your body. You feel the weight of no. That word no just weighs on your shoulder. You feel like when you ask for help, if you are trying to make a sale and someone says no, when you put yourself out there for that promotion and they say no, it just weighs on you because it says something about you and how someone looks at you and how they value you and the place and the bucket that they put you in, right? If that relates to you, what's up, Dr. Sydney? Good to have you on this morning. If you can relate to lie number two, put the number two in the comments. I see you, Pam. Here is what I realize in the story. The man, right? And we keep going back to this story from Luke chapter 11. The Bible says he goes because a friend of mine has arrived on a journey and I have nothing to set before him. He was literally asking for a friend. And so the Bible says, even if the friend will not come and give you anything because the door is shut, he will come because of impudence, which means shameless persistence. In other words, the guy kept on knocking because it was not about him. He was asking for someone else. It was more than him. It was different from him. So when he heard a no, he did not let the no affect him because it was never for him. And I need you to think about that. When you are asking for people to give to what you're doing and asking for the sale and you are asking for whatever, you need to keep the mission in front of you. This is about the people I need to reach. This is about the goal that I have. This is about what I'm trying to build. And you need to keep that in front of you so you understand no isn't about me, it's about the mission. So I'm going to keep asking. I can either ask the same person multiple times, which is what the guy did, or I can keep going around and asking other people, because when they say no, the no is never about me. And we said this, and this is going to bless somebody today. So I need you to just hold on. You need to hear this. What's up, Paula? You need to hear this. When people say no, we count each no. We feel each no. But whenever you get the right yes cancels all the no's. Like the no's don't count. I asked my wife this question yesterday. I was talking about this and what I've been talking about all week. And I said to my wife, right? I said to her, if I asked you, if I told you, you go into this room and in this room, if you ask people, somebody in this room is going to give you $1 million. Somebody in this room is going to give you $1 million. How many people in the room would you ask? Right? And I would ask you that question. If you go into this room and I tell you When you ask people in this room, someone in this room is going to ask you, is going to give you $1,000,000. How many people would you ask? Give me your number. Give me your number. Give me your number. How many people would you ask? If I told you, I guarantee you, when you go into this room, if you ask, someone in this room is going to give you $1,000,000. How many people would you ask? And while you're typing that, let me tell you what her answer was. She said, I'd ask everyone in the room. I would ask everyone in the room if you told me someone in this room would give me $1,000,000. And then I said this to her. You know what you didn't ask me? You did not ask me. Yes, Yvonne, everyone. Someone said all of them. Here's what none of you asked, or I put in the statement. None of you asked how many people were in the room, right? You didn't care. When you think about your goal, if it's about the goal, you don't really care about the no's, because every no is leading you to the right yes. And once you get to the yes, the no's don't count. It could have been 100 people. It could have been 200 people. I didn't tell you the size of the room. But what you need to understand, and this is a life lesson for all of us, that even if one person says no, every no is going to lead you to your yes. So you cannot count the no's. So here's the point I'm making again. It's never about you. It's not about you, right? If they say no, they're not rejecting you. And that was a lie. They're rejecting me. Yesterday, lie number 3. We're just giving you a recap. Those of you who've been here all week long, this is just a reminder. But here is lie number 3. Lie number 3. What's up, Mike? Lie number 3 is, if I ask, there will be strings attached. Good morning. Good morning. If I ask, there will be strings attached. Woo! How many of us, and just put a 3 in the comments, if this is a lie that stops you from asking people? Because you don't want folks holding stuff over your head. Come on now, let's have a real conversation. You don't want people bringing this up later on. Hey, I helped you. Remember when I did that for you? Remember when I gave you an opportunity and whatever, kid. All right, Cheryl. And some of us, because we think about that, we stop ourselves from asking. And this, and we're on here talking now, and you're saying, Kimon, you can talk what you want. I know what I've experienced, and I know you have, because I've experienced it too. And it stops us from asking in the future because we've been burned. But here is what I want to just remind you. Here's what I want to remind you. We're going back to our passage. The man goes and he asks a friend. I would ask, what string attached, right? So I think usually, Yvonne, it's like, if I do this for you, will you do this for me later on? And we wonder, what will this person want from me later? And here's what I just want to say to us. This might sound a little bit weird. The man says, I have a need because someone asked me for help. They asked me, they came at midnight and they were hungry. So I've granted them housing. But now I need help from you, and I'm coming asking for bread. But he says, lend me bread. And here's what I want you to understand. Lending bread, it really doesn't make sense. You can't borrow bread because you can't give it back. And what this man is saying is, I understand that the human system, the system we live in as human beings, means that we are going to need help from each other. I am going to need to be a giver at some points and a receiver at other points. And if you are always trying to avoid asking for help, eventually you'll stop giving help. And that is not the way that God designed you to live. God designed you to live where you can receive graciously and give generously. You can receive graciously and give generously. And that is just a part of the human system. Are there some people who try to violate it by only asking? Yes. But that should never stop you from asking and giving, because you are made to be a part of a system where you receive those who need help and you ask for the help that you need. And that's the only way that we function well as human beings. So that was lie number 3. If I ask, there will be strings attached. And if you believe that lie and give into that lie, you will stay stuck where you are. All right. Here's lie number 4. And I believe this is the biggest one that stops us. I believe that someone right now needs something. You are watching this live, and there is something you need. And the reason you have not asked for that is because of this lie. Here is a lie. All right. I don't think they have enough. Woohoo. Come on, get in these comments. Let me know if I'm talking the truth. Put a number 4 on there. If you have ever said this to yourself, I don't think they have enough. Right? Now, this is how we say it to ourselves. I need help, but they're too busy. I need help, but they got too much going on. I'm looking at their family and he's in school and their kids are doing this. So I'm not going to ask because they got too much going on. Or I don't want to inconvenience anyone, right? Or we think things like they probably can't help me anyway. Come on, talk to me. Come on, put a number 4 if that is what you've been thinking. Or here it is for those of you who are in business. I don't want to ask this person to buy because they can't afford it. Or I'm not going to charge and ask for my real value for what this thing is because they don't have it, right? They don't have it. So I don't want to ask because they don't have enough. And I need to just talk to you. I see the 4s are coming in here on Facebook and on YouTube. I see some of you are putting it over here. Come on, where my Instagram folks? Come on, Instagram folks. If this is a lie you've believed, put the number 4 here. I want to talk about that this morning. Claretta, I want to talk about that this morning. So here is what I want us to understand. Here's why this is dangerous. Because before we even ask, we answer for other people. We decide for other people. We decide that they can't give. We decide how much they can give. We decide when they'll be willing to give. We'll decide what they're capable of doing without ever ask. This is why this is the biggest one, because this blocks us from asking. Some of the other ones, they stop us from being persistent and going on with asking. This stops us from asking, period. Listen, here's my ask to you. Share this live because you know somebody, they're building a business, they're building a ministry, they're working on something. Like my friend Paula, you're building a school and you need to work on asking people. And we hate it, but it's just a part of life. So here's a few things I want to just talk about with this lie, that if I ask, I don't need to ask this person because I don't think they have it. The first thing is scarcity is what is stopping us from asking. Scarcity thinking, scarcity thinking. Now, I'm going to go back to the story, and I want you to see this. The man in the story says this in Luke chapter 11. He says in verse 6, a friend of mine has arrived on a journey. I have nothing to set before him. All right? I have nothing to set before him. I have nothing to set before him. This is his honesty speaking right here. He is saying, I ain't got it, right? I looked in my cupboards. I don't have it. So here's the honesty. I don't have it. And the next thing he does is he goes and he asks a neighbor. And I want to just stay here because I need you to think about this, because this is what's factoring into a lot of us in our thinking. He doesn't assume that because he doesn't have it, his neighbor doesn't have it. Right? Stay with me on this. Stay with me. I'm slowing down for a reason. Because how many times do you look at what you don't have, and because you don't have it, you assume other people don't have it either? Come on. Let me know. Put yes in the comments if you can relate to me. If this is something that you can honestly admit, yes. Sometimes I look at my finances, and because I don't have it, I think, well, this person, they're about the same stage of life as me. Maybe their kids are even younger. Maybe they got more responsibilities, blah, blah, blah. So if I don't have it, they don't have it either. Come on, let me see. Who are the honest people this morning? All right, Cheryl. We do this, right? So our lack causes us to put that lack or that scarcity on someone else. So since I don't have enough, they don't have enough either. Since I'm busy, I assume they're too busy as well. Since I don't have the money to pay for this, They don't have the money. Since I'm struggling, everybody else is struggling. And that is something that happens to us where we take our lack and we put it on other people. But I'm glad that the man in the story does not do that. He realizes in this season and in this moment, for bread purposes, he has nothing. But he says to himself, no, I don't know if my neighbor does. And sometimes that's just all we need. It's not a matter of saying, I know you have it. It's a matter of saying, I'm not going to answer for you. I am going to give you at least the opportunity to answer for yourself. If you have the time, if you have the resources, if you have the knowledge, if you are willing to, I want to give you the opportunity. So the man knocks on his neighbor's door. Now, if he never knocked, and this is what we talk about, the lie. If he doesn't knock, there's bread that was in that house that would have stayed behind the door, and his friend who came would have been hungry. So what I need you to understand is scarcity is the thing that causes us to count other people's money. My people who are in my coaching program, you hear me say this all the time. Stop counting other people's money. That is not a good practice. Get out of other people's bank accounts. Get out of other people's paychecks. You don't know what they got going on. All of us we got a second purse. We got a second wallet. We got another pocket for the things that we really want. So don't decide for people what they can afford. Don't decide for people what they can give. Don't decide for other people that they're too busy. And so scarcity is the thing that stops us from even asking. And we think nobody's buying this. And we always hear that. Nobody's buying, nobody's doing this, nobody. And all the customers are gone. It's too saturated. Everybody's already taken. And we allow that scarcity to rob us of really going forward with what God has given us to. And I just want to encourage someone that your lack should not be placed on other people. Because maybe in this season, you don't have this thing, but you have something else. And so stop counting other people's money and stop coming up with the reasons why they are going to say no. So scarcity is what stops us from asking. If that makes sense to you, just let me know in the comments. You can put an amen. We'll use amen this morning. All right. So scarcity is the thing that stops us from asking. And this is, again, the biggest lie that is holding a lot of us back. Now, everything changes in Luke chapter 11 when this man goes to his friend's house and he asks. And there's something that I want to just say to you this morning. I want to free you. I want to free someone this morning to be able to ask people. The next thing I tell you is going to free you to ask somebody. I'm going to stay right here because the next thing I'm telling you is going to free you in mindset wise to allow you to ask people. Good morning, Hazel. It's going to free you to ask people. And here it is. All right, here it is. Asking people is a compliment. When you ask someone for help, when you make an offer to them to buy, when you ask them to give, it is a compliment. It's not a bother. It is not a burden. It is a compliment. Somebody put the word compliment in the comments. Put the word compliment in the comments. And I'm going to explain it to you. I was asking my friend Adrian Benton to record a video for me, and she recorded it. Adrian's all the way in another country doing some important work, and she sent it back. So I know Adrian's busy. I know it, right? But again, let me not count her situation. Let me not tell her story for her. And when she sent me the video, this is the word that she said to me. She said this, honored, right? She just put that, honored. I was like, thank you. She put honored. And I was thinking to myself, honored? Like, what do you get in this exchange when you sent this back to me for you to say the word honored, right? And then it hit me. She is saying, I'm honored that you thought so much of me, that you would ask this of me, that you thought I was capable of doing this, that you thought I was someone that would give enough value in this. And I need you to realize something. Instead of thinking that you're burdening people by asking them, you're saying to them, I believe that you have something. It is a compliment. It's saying, I believe. When I ask you for advice, I'm believing you got wisdom. When I ask you, hey, can you guide me in terms of getting into this job that I'm trying to? I'm believing that you got the knowledge, that you got the expertise, you got something that you know that I don't know. When I ask you, let me make it spiritual because y'all gonna get this. When I ask you, can you pray for me? That's a compliment because I'm saying to you that I believe that you got a connection with God, that when you pray, things happen. I believe in your faith, that when you pray, that your faith moves heaven. When I say to you, can you pray? I'm going through this. I've got this illness. You realize in that moment, that's a compliment that I'm saying to you that you are someone that you are in touch with heaven. I'm not asking any and every person for this deep matter. I'm believing that you can do. It's a compliment. And it's a compliment even to God when we pray, because he says, come boldly before the throne of grace. So it's saying, God, when I ask you, I am believing that God, you got the answer to my prayer. You got the peace that I need. You got the healing that I need. You got the provision that I need. It is a compliment when you ask someone. So I want you to just get this. Don't rob people of the opportunity to bless you. I want you to, every time you ask someone, to look at it as a compliment. I believe that you have knowledge. I believe that you have ability. I believe you got resources. I believe you have belief in yourself. That's why I'm asking you for this. Every time you make an offer to someone in your business, you win. Now, every time they take the offer, they win. But when I make an offer to you, I am not saying I'm trying to get something from you. I'm saying I believe that you have the resources, you have the vision, you have the foresight, you have the dream and the goal that will say that I'm going to take that offer. And so it is a compliment when you ask someone for something. It's a compliment. Does that relate? Anybody you feeling that? Mike, I see you type the word honored. Does that relate to anyone that you've been thinking when I ask someone, I'm burdening them, I am bothering them, but it is saying now, no, I'm not burdening you, I'm not bothering you, I am giving you a compliment that I think that you, Dr. Joe Howard, you are a person of intelligence that I need to ask you for your opinion because your opinion matters to me. That's a compliment. And I just want to let you know, just shift your thinking on that. Shift your thinking on asking people. All right, here's the last point today. And we want to overcome the lie. And the lie, just as a review for those who might just be hopping on, is I don't think they have enough. I don't think they have enough. And that stops us. That stops us from getting help. So we don't ask someone for counsel. That stops us from making the sale because we don't want to ask someone to buy. That stops us from getting the opportunity because we don't want to ask someone for, hey, can you give me some guidance in opening that door? It just stops us from so many things. It just really, this lie right here, it just stops us from so many things, Hazel. But here is my last point I want to make today, right? God's economy is abundance. I just want you to hear this, right? God's economy is abundance. I know we just talked about scarcity, and in the story, the man starts off saying, I have nothing. And that might be true for you in this particular season of life, that it feels like I have nothing. It feels like right now, based on my bank account, based on my situation, based on my circumstance, I have nothing. And what might be the temptation is because I have nothing, is there is nothing. We are living in a scarcity setup. that there is a total lack of everything. And I just want to tell you that God's economy is abundance. If you believe that, if you receive that, I just need you to put the word yes in the comments. I want you to receive that today, that God's economy is abundance, Claretta. Yes, God's economy is abundance. And let me talk about that and just bring you back, right? When God created Adam, God did not place Adam in a desert. God did not place Adam in a desert. He did not place mankind in a desert. He did not place them in a place. Here are just 4 things. When they run out, good luck. No, God placed them in a garden, and a garden with just variety of things to eat, but everything had a seed in it, and those seeds would produce and produce and produce. So abundance was everywhere, opportunity everywhere, provision everywhere. And that's the first picture that God gives us of life. Life and God's economy is abundance. It's abundance. It's abundance. And sometimes, because in our story we have nothing, we think scarcity is normal. We think scarcity is even a part of God's design. But no, even though there's brokenness in this world, God's heart is still about abundance. God is still the God who every good and perfect gift comes from him. He's still the God that says that I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. And what I want you to see in this parable is that even though one person didn't have, someone else had, because there is still abundance. Even though one neighbor didn't have bread, another neighbor had bread, because there's still abundance. And then Jesus gives the ultimate invitation. He says, ask, and it will be given unto you. Seek, and you'll find. Knock, and the door will be open. Jesus doesn't give like disclaimers, ask, and if there's enough, it'll be added on. He doesn't say seek, and if there's a possibility you might find. Knock, and if not too many people have gone through the door. No, he is saying that whole line is a line of abundance. It's saying there's more. And I need somebody to just understand there's more. So even if 10 people are doing the same thing you're doing and other people are buying from them, I want you to say to yourself, there's more people that can buy from me. If there are people who have gone into a particular field and they've gotten the job, I want you to say, you know what? There are more opportunities. There's more. If people are writing books on something and they're getting published, and you are thinking to yourself, well, I don't need to. I want you to understand there's more. We are in God's economy and it's abundance. And God is saying there are more opportunities. There are more doors that will be opened for you. There are more people who need what you have. There are more people that need the thing that God has put on the inside of you. And so before you count yourself out and tell me why it's too late for you and you're too old or you're too this and you're too that, understand God's invitation is there's more. So he says ask, he says seek, he says knock, because he says there's more. I want to change this picture we see of God. God says in this parable, Jesus says, which of you fathers, if you had a son, your son asks for bread, you'll give him a stone. God is saying, listen, I'm not out of resources, and I have a good heart towards you. I want to give you good gifts. And so with that abundance in mind, I want you to approach things differently. I want you to approach people differently, that there is more. That even if 10 people tell me no, there are more people to ask, because we're in abundance. I want you to think, if God is my Father, that there's more blessings he has for me, even if I'm in a season where I feel like I have nothing. God is never out of resources. So maybe today, the greatest thing that needs to change for you isn't your circumstance. It's how you picture God. That maybe you might be thinking God is a God of scarcity, God is holding back. And I just want you to see that God is a God of abundance. So the reason we ask is because there's more. There is more, Mike. There is more. I mean, I think about it this way. My kids are at home. My wife cooks. She cooks a whole meal. And imagine if they're sitting at the table, they've eaten one helping, but they're still hungry. And they sit there because they're hungry, because they don't want to ask for more, because they don't think there's enough. When she's had more dishes left there and she's cooked for multiple days, and the invitation is there's more. If you want more, all you have to do is just ask. That's it. You know, the verse that I was on a call last week with Pierre, and he just said the verse in our coaching session with the folks we're working with. And he said, Pierre Quinn, he says, you have not because you ask not. And that just stuck with me. Because God is saying that there's more for you. And the reason that for a lot of us, we don't have the more that we're looking for is we just don't ask. We don't ask God. We don't ask others. And my invitation to you after this whole week long is to embrace this concept that asking is a life skill. I'm going to ask more people. I'm going to make bigger asks of people. I'm going to make bigger asks of God because there's more. Anybody receiving this? That there's more? Just put the word more in the comments because I want you to believe God for more. I want you to believe that God has more for you in terms of that thing that you're working on, in terms of that thing that He's placed inside of you, that thing that you've been stopping yourself from taking action on because you're afraid of the no's, you're afraid of the rejection, you're afraid of what other people will think about you, you're afraid they don't have it. And God is saying, there's more. There's more for you. There is more for you. And I want you to think, what can I do differently to embrace this abundance mindset? What can I do differently in my prayer life? How can I ask and pray and ask God for bigger prayers, more things? Because the truth is, for God who is infinite, there's nothing that is too hard for God. So here is what I want to just ask you. What is one area of your life that you need to ask for more from God and from others? What is one area of your life? And you need to answer that for yourself. This is a personal reflection. What's one area of your life you need to ask for more? What's one area you've been holding yourself back from? Putting out the proposal, making another phone call, making another sales invitation, right? Making another ask from someone, praying and asking God for it another time. What's one area that you need to step into this thought of abundance? All right, before I get off of here, I'm going to make an ask of you. I'm going to ask for something from you. All week long, I've been mentioning, and I want to stay here for a second, that I'm hosting, along with some others, the Monetize Your Ministry Conference. And our theme is You've Got Oil. And it's really based on a passage from 2 Kings 4, verse 1 to 7. And that story is about asking for more. The prophet asks the lady, what do you have? She goes to him and asks him for help. He asks her, what do you have? When she says she has oil, he tells her, go borrow vessels. And that is where you and I, it challenges us. He says, borrow them, but not too few. And maybe you thought every person she asked said yes. But what if she got a bunch of no's, but she remembered what the prophet said, not too few? In other words, get as many as you can. And that ask, where she went around to ask neighbors, that provided for her and her sons and changed the trajectory of her life. It saved her sons. And that's what we're going to be talking about at the conference, helping you identify your oil. What is the thing that God has given you that you may be overlooking? Teaching you how you can put together the things that are needed to package it, and then showing you how to have the conversations so that you can make sales, so that you can convert them into paying clients, so that doors are open for speaking and training and development and all of those things. And we have people who have done it. We have 6, 7, 8-figure business owners. We have Mignon Francois. And let me put this graphic up here. We have Mignon Francois, who took her last $5 bill and with the faith that God gave her, used it to keep her business going. That's now turned into an over $10 million cupcake business. We have Celeste Roberts right here in the city of Tampa, where I live, who, along with some friends, they were in the nonprofit, they were in the work, doing youth work, and they decided, listen, can we build something that will impact youth on a 7 day a week basis? And they kept on working and they kept on asking, applying. And as the wind of God blew it, they were able to get grants and donations over $20 million. And you should see the center that they have. So she's going to be one of our speakers. And over, we're going to be sharing inspiration, information so that it will lead to transformation. So I want to encourage you, go to mymconference.com. The link is right there on the screen, mymconference.com. In fact, can someone put that in the comments for me? mymconference.com. Let me show you the lineup one more time. You have on the ends, my two daughters, they'll be sharing a really interesting perspective. Their goal and their burden at the conference is to tell you why you need to do what God has called you to do, not just for you, right? And I'm not going to give away their talk, but it's not just about you. And they'll be sharing on that. I mentioned Mignon, I mentioned Celeste. Marcus Rozier is a marketing and sales expert and a pastor. So he talks about money from a biblical perspective. Well, some of you already know Dr. Myron Edmonds, who has taken his ministry and message out into the marketplace and has created a movement that's helped thousands of men and their families. Pierre Quinn, who has stepped onto stages and taken the same message that he was sharing in one context and made the adjustments, and now it's opened doors, and he's not one of Global Guru's top 30 leadership speakers. And then we have Athena Shack, a publisher, an author, and someone who has an amazing story, and how God turned that story around so that now she is now helping other people to share their story. And I might say a little something as well. Is that all right? So, mymconference.com, that is the link for the conference. mymconference.com, got to put that .com behind it. mymconference.com. Go there, register, and here's my last ask. Share it. Today is the early bird deadline. So when the clock hits midnight tonight, the price goes up. So if you are that person waiting for the last moment, here it is. Congratulations. Register today. And then share this with someone you know has been sitting on a business idea and needs some help. Someone you know has started a business and needs some help. Someone you know is stuck and they need some help. They've been talking about getting that book done. They've been talking about getting on stages. They've been talking about building out that food business, whatever business it is. They need to be in the room. So that's my ask. Share that with them. I'll put the graphic up one more time again. Here it is. It's Monetize Your Ministry Conference. The theme is You've Got Oil, and the website is mymconference.com. mymconference.com. Can I make another one? You watch this live, and I asked you to share in the beginning. I got this from someone. You were sharing by faith. But as you watch this, you recognize, no, this is value. So maybe you didn't share before, but now you know, hey, this is what he's talking about. I know someone who needs this. Would you share this live with them that they can be helped? Maybe they've been telling themselves that lie. Folks don't have it. I don't want to bother them. I don't, what if they don't have enough? And now you recognize, no, they need to hear this message. Would you share this live with someone else who needs this message, that it's not about scarcity, it is about abundance, and asking others is a compliment. All right, good folks, it's been awesome hanging out with you this week. So those of you who are signed up for the conference, say it in the comments. Let me shout you out. I see some of you already here. Cheryl, Hazel, Claretta. Who else is in the comments who is coming to the conference? I want to shout you out. Put your name. Let me know. Let me shout you out that you're coming to the conference. mymconference.com is the link. Somebody put the website in the comments if you can. mymconference.com. That's the link for the conference. But if you're coming, let me know that you are coming to the conference. Just let me know. I want to shout you out before we get off of here this morning. Where are my folks over here on Instagram? All right, good, good, good. I see my folks over here saying more on Instagram. All right, if you're coming to the conference, let me know. Pierre, what's up, Pierre Quinn? Yeah, you better be there. I just talked about you. You got your face on this flyer, so you better be there. Who else is coming to the conference? Who else is coming? Yeah, Pierre, you we don't got no conference if you're not there. Hazel, yes, you will be there. Love it, love it. Anybody else who will be there? I want to shout you out. If you will be there, put it in the comments. Some of our folks who are coming not up this morning watching the live, but maybe you'll watch the replay. You can still put it in the comments. All right, good folks. Share this live. Share the conference with someone. Cheryl, yep, Cheryl will be there. Share it with someone. Let them know that this live will bless them. It will help them overcome one of the biggest reasons we don't ask for help. And let them know today is the early bird deadline to register for the conference. So if they get that special rush of adrenaline from registering at the end, this is it, right? Go to share this live and register for the conference, nymconference.com. Y'all folks, it's great hanging out with you this week. Have an amazing rest of your day.
If you've ever had a business idea that just won't leave you alone, maybe you started it, but now you feel stuck, or you've built that business and it's good, but now you feel it's time to take it to another level. I've got something we've been working on behind the scenes, a conference, and it's just for you. The Monetize Your Ministry Business Conference is happening September 25 to 27 in the Tampa Wesley Chapel area. Our theme this year is this: You've Got Oil. Because I believe many of us keep asking God and we say, God, give me more. God is saying, use what I've already given you. We're going to spend 3 days helping you discover how to build that business that God has placed in your heart. We'll talk about things like marketing and sales and offers and funding and positioning, and we'll do it all from a faith-based biblical perspective. Registration for the conference is officially open. So go to mymconference.com. That's mymconference.com. Register, and I'll see you there.